I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 2. Last episode was like setting up what I assume to be the beginning of the rest of the season. Like training arcs separately for our boys Kaguya-sama, Suki, and Hinata. Hinata made a very bold move last episode. And that was to break in to Shiro Torizawa's training camp for freshmen.
The one where he wouldn't get arrested.
First years, yeah. I don't know, man. I am hopeful that Hinata can learn something as a ball boy. Whether it's just visually and like thinking out, ahead of other players, or maybe he'll get some time in the training camp, maybe get some advice. Maybe Shiro Torizawa's coach can think up some new strategies after he is motivated by Hinata's passion for the sport. I don't know. I'm also excited to hopefully see some more of Sakusa Kiyomi, who was at the
Elite Japan, All Japan, I
the
think
National Youth Intensive Training Camp, I believe. Hopefully we get a little bit more of him and Kageyama. Hopefully Kageyama learns a couple things. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long this arc of training is going to span episode-wise.
Part of me's kind of worried that season 4 is purely the camps. And then season 5 that is hopefully coming is going to be the spring nationals.
Interesting. I don't know how many episodes are in the season, but that could very well be the case. I don't know. I'm excited to keep watching.
That's my feeling I have at the moment.
Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Ugh, what a good moment. So epic.
Normally when he does the yelling introductions, he says something like, and I'm going to be the best.
Yeah.
And I was so glad he was like, and I'm your ball boy. And I was like, yes.
There was imagery there in the intro of what looked like to be Kageyama's throne, in a junkyard.
Toppled over?
Yeah, toppled over.
That could not necessarily be a bad thing. Because he always thought that being put on a throne was a bad thing.
Well, it could be a progression thing in the sense that he is surrounded by the actual other best players in the nation, so he gets a little bit humbled.
Who's gonna be the star of the Karasuno training? Yamaguchi, this training arc's for you.
Oh no.
No. He's just saying that so that they don't worry.
Huh. He's going to be the best ball boy there ever was.
Good.
Come on, Suki. Get some critical feedback.
That's why he was a part of the wall.
Interesting.
That's the Olympic coach, right?
It looks like him. Could be like a Mr. Miyagi situation, though. Maybe this is helping Hinata, and we just don't know it yet.
I mean, a little bit of maturity and humbleness can go a long way.
Absorb this information, Hinata.
And also the desire to want to be back on the court.
Yeah.
Suki should be in Kaguya-sama Love is War. Does he want him to be allowed to play?
I'm getting the impression. I needed this. Yes.
So they both live at the school.
Potentially.
It could be a waste of time for him, though.
Toupee.
Do you remember when he was swinging his toupee?
Mm-hmm. That felt so tense.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. Look at potato.
Says it in katakana too.
Make the best drinks of your life. Think about what you can do as a ball boy.
He's getting so much information though, you know? And so much like awareness of the court. Yeah.
Go Shiki with the smirk.
Yeah. It's so cool.
The opponents.
Oh.
Is he gonna be upset that Hinata's not playing?
Amazing.
They're gonna be so confused.
He knows exactly what's going on.
It's a little embarrassing for him. He doesn't want to be looked down upon by them.
Oh. I love Tendo so much.
He's teaching. That brings back memories.
Mm-hmm. Crazy shot. Hell yeah. Double?
It could totally be a waste of time for Hinata to be there.
It really could.
And
It depends on his perspective, no?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's kind of what Ushijima was saying when he said, "What are you even doing here?"
Yeah.
His voice kind of sounds different to me. I don't know why.
That's a great line.
They keep searching for what's best for them. Is he gonna cry? Oh, it reflects on that line. Keep searching for what's best for you.
Oh, wow.
Something different about his aura.
Look at that posture.
Really? That was quick. That was quick.
That was so quick. What's, I need to write down the name of Shiratorizawa's new ace. Like, the up-and-coming.
Oh, Goshiki.
How do you spell that?
Go, Goshiki.
Goshiki? Mm-hmm. Cool.
I need to get Date Tech's, the first year that's there for Date Tech's name.
The setter?
Is he a setter? Yeah, right?
I believe so. His name is very long.
The rooster head guy.
Yeah.
He always has funny expressions on his face.
I love him, though. I'm trying to think where it was. It might have been later in the episode than this.
I think it was maybe when he was setting. And he asked how it was. I think it was before the game. It might have been at the... Oh.
Koganagawa.
Koganagawa. That is a long name.
Right?
Koganagawa. Koganagawa. I'm sorry.
What'd you think of this episode?
It wasn't like as big and exciting as episode 1, which it didn't need to be. But I think it was more about the lines and the dialogue that was said instead of action and plot movement.
I agree.
What was more important was imagery of Hinata's current internal struggle, and all of the things that people have said to him, both in this episode and in episode 1.
Yeah.
That was the real point, was to show his kind of realization that this could be a total waste of his time being there just for the principle of, I wanted to be here and you didn't invite me, so I'm gonna stay. You know, sometimes that stubbornness isn't always the best thing. So to make this worth it, he either needs to do what Ukai said, which was figure out what you can do as a ball boy, or he needs to go home. He needs to go back and be practicing at Karasuno.
I agree with you. Do you think that he's going to be making that decision at the start of episode 3? Do you think that that's what that, like him walking out was? I think that his decision's going to be the ball boy route, but his whole change of perspective, like, I think that it's going to be in that kind of sense, you know?
Like, what are some of the things he could be learning? I mean, he could be polishing his skills of digging balls up like Nishuniya does. Because when they were practicing their spikes, that's what he was doing as a ball boy, was getting the ball really quickly. His eye on the ball, he could be practicing watching the ball.
Like his reflexes in that sense? Yeah,
his reflexes. Those are some things. Other than that, I don't really know what he could do. Mopping the floor?
I definitely think he'll probably have a better appreciation of the people on the sidelines.
Which is great.
Agreed.
But it doesn't help him for later on in an actual game.
I do think that his reaction time is going to hopefully improve. I hope that he is able to see moves or specific things that spikers are doing and positions they're getting into that he's able to retain like the information of. Like they definitely have the whole, I don't know how you'd say it, the whole like vibe of the situation being his perspective needs to change and he's being very humbled, you know? And it's like you could very easily drown in the self-hatred here and the self-doubt, and it's what you choose to do in that moment that will make or break you. And hopefully it seems like Hinata is going to push forward with a better perspective here. It would make sense going forward for him to heighten other skills other than like what he's been known to do thus far.
He doesn't want to be a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Like, he's known for the fact that he can do those quick attacks, but he's also known for not really having technique in any of the other areas. So I guess that could be an important thing that he can build here. I have like a slight worry about like Suki's progress now that Hinata's there. I was kind of excited for Suki being by himself in the same way of like what we got with him in that training camp with Bokudo and Akashi and Kuro, and then with Yamaguchi's speech to him during that time. There was a lot that happened for him with him being alone with members of the other team. But obviously Hinata did join in some of that. But part of me is like, in this episode, we just kind of see Suki as like a side character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but is he going to progress at all from this? Is he going to gain anything from this? Like, I want him to. Because obviously we have Kageyama's hopefully going to learn some things from the camp he's at and get stronger.
Which we didn't get any of Kageyama this episode, right?
Right, no. But I'm really hoping that they actually give something to all three of those characters at their respective training camps. I'm hoping it's not just like Hinata's the only one that gets anything out of this camp, that Suki was that one actually invited to.
I agree with you. I feel that worry too. Thankfully, I don't know how big it's gonna be. We got like one scene of Shiro Torizawa's coach say like give a critique to Suki, and Suki said like okay, like don't like take your hands down as quick. And then we had an instance of Suki not communicating very well to Koga Nagawa. Maybe that's where they go with it. Maybe Suki just becomes a better communicator.
Oh, better. Like, I feel like Suki with his team has spent time with him, therefore they now understand his lack of communication and what he's actually probably saying by the limited amount of things he actually says out loud. So I feel like Kageyama has a better like gauge of what Suki really needs or is asking for. But it's going to be hard when it's someone who's just meeting him. So that's a good thing that he could learn is communication.
Yeah. Very true. Do you think that there's, how do you feel about like the three characters we have, Suki, Kageyama, and Hinata, being at these camps? Do you think that there are the characters that we still have on our team practicing at home? Do you think they're going to develop anything that we see or don't see until that time? Are you like, what are your feelings there?
I mean, it could be a repetition of the whole like group synchronized attack. Mm-hmm. Where they all decided to work on that because the main people, the main characters were off doing something else at that time. It could be something like that. I think my hope is that the focus is maybe on Nishiniya because they bring him up as being, why wasn't he invited? You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe we need to have more time with that character because he's said to be also similar to Kageyama in the way that he was like a prodigy.
And he's a second year, correct?
Yes.
If that would be a great character to take advantage of because we have a couple of years left with him, you know?
Yeah. And I remember like in season 1 they were like, and Karasuno has Nishiniya too.
Yeah.
You know, like other people were talking about him because he was known. And I'm hoping that he gets some attention. Yamaguchi's probably feeling left out right now.
I feel like Yamaguchi has a very good mental. I think he has a very good perspective, and he's doing what he can to play his part, and I really appreciate that. Yes.
And he's okay with his part being a smaller portion of the game.
Which is really
because
nice.
It's so vital to have, like, that can totally, we've seen it, sway the game in their favor.
Yeah. When we had a moment with Hinata talking about, like, jump serves for, like, a second, right? We had, like, a frame of it. I was like, no way Hinata's gonna try to, like, become, like, the best, like, server, right? Like, that would be nuts.
I mean, it's kind of, I like that they used this episode to show us again, because I feel like sometimes we forget that Hinata isn't just a great volleyball player. Like, we get in a mindset where we think, oh, Hinata's just a great volleyball player, but we forget that he lacks technique and experience with the other areas of volleyball. And I feel like this episode was perfectly detailing the different things that he's not very good at, like serving and jump serving.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, like, how could anybody forget the amazing Oikawa moments of his jump serves with Ole, you know? Hinata, we had a direct correlation with him having the same jump height as Asahi, somebody who also worked on their serves. What if this is the next step for Hinata? He has great height in his jump. If he can master, like, just the start of it, he could potentially be a really good jump serve.
I feel like serves would be the natural next place for him.
It might be difficult, but it could be a route that they go. You know?
Yeah, that'd be good. I don't know. I don't really know what he can actually gain from the finding whatever it is he's searching for as a ball boy. I can't see it yet, but I guess that just makes sense because I'm not the one that wrote the story.
Coach Takeda had a great line here, right? If we can always present the correct answer to them, we should. But the best thing we can do is make sure that they don't stop thinking and to make sure they keep searching what's best for them. That's great.
I wrote that part down. Keep searching for what's best for them.
I think that what they breed, like what a character breeds if they search what's best for them inside themselves and come to that realization and conclusion by themselves, that end point and goal will be more powerful than if somebody gave them an answer, you know?
I mean, that really is how it is as a student-teacher relationship.
And it seems like Hinata's on the verge of doing that right now.
He was just given the line by Ukai to figure out what he can do there.
Yeah. When we got the Goshiki moment of him looking in at Hinata, it made me very curious as to what that relationship's going to be, if Goshiki can help Hinata in any way, if there's going to be any communication between the two.
I feel like leaving the last match in season 3, I feel like Goshiki's feelings about Hinata were probably, negative definitely in terms of the fact that Karasuno beat Shiro Torizawa, but also I think he has this reverence for Ushijima that he would be like, how dare you try to think that you could be as good or stand up next to Ushijima, you know?
Yeah.
So there's definitely room for those characters to have some form of relationship. But, like, a lot of the other characters that are there aren't really drawn like they're meant to be super interesting or important. So I'm kind of like, it seems like Goshiki mainly, and maybe the two from Aoba Josai, and the taller one, the really tall guy.
2 meters tall. Is that Nagamatsu?
Yeah.
Who is...
No.
I feel like I was missing something. I'm sure I'm missing a lot, but there was one of them who I thought...
They said his name at some point. But...
Yeah. I'm sure if he'll be referenced again.
Yeah.
But we had... my personal favorite shot of the episode was definitely in Hinata's... towards his exit of the room after his, recounting of what everybody's been saying to him. We had, a great shot of him, with very dark... shadows. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was a really, really well-drawn shot with, great detail.
It totally references the opening.
It does.
Because in the opening, it starts off very dark, and you see him, and then all the lights come on in the court.
It could be, a thematic... He has to go through this, kind of dark place of self-doubt and self-discovery before he's able to compete on that court. And
what does he do? He exits the dark room, mm-hmm. and he's shown, backlit with, not backlit, the opposite of backlit.
Yeah. So, what I have pulled up here is what I've referenced right after the intro, or during it.
The throne. The
throne on the ground next to a pile of trash. I definitely agree with what you were saying about it. It could totally be... in the sense of it's a good thing. I'm the core of the team. The shine isn't on me, Mm-hmm. But I think it just as easily could be interpreted as a bad thing. I don't know what that thing would be, but it's interesting.
I mean, Kageyama's at this camp where he's probably one of the only, if not the only, first year there. And there's also Olympic players there that he's gonna meet. And I feel like if anything, he would take it as evidence that there was still room for him to get better, and that would probably be exciting for him.
True. I agree with you.
So I'm not taking the throne in the garbage as a negative imagery for his character.
I could almost see it potential. Again, I'm not I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to volleyball. In ice hockey, a lot of people who play center are sometimes the glue in a line. Sometimes they're amazing players, but they don't get all the recognition as a winger would get, who are scoring more goals potentially, but that's their job as a center. And a setter could potentially be the person who's not necessarily the most flashy person, but he's not the king of the court, Mm-hmm. He's setting up each other person on his team to be the king.
Which is how Oikawa's kind of how he tries to play.
Exactly.
That's his play style, is try to make everyone on his team feel like they're the star.
He makes all of the audience feel like a star too, because Oikawa is amazing and could never do anything wrong. Do you think we're going to get any of him this season?
I hope we do. I liked that he was in the audience. at the game in season 3.
Me too.
I really did enjoy his like little comments that he was making, and obviously with Iwa being there, it was even better. I hope that he is involved, whether it's we see the two that are at the first year training camp at Alba Josai going back and maybe talking to Oyakawa. I don't know. I don't know how you could actually mix him in other than just being an audience member again.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if right after this camp they're going right into the tournament again.
And what do the upperclassmen do when they're out? They're getting ready to go to college or go to whatever they have their own things going on. They have their own things going on. That was the whole moment in time where our third years were trying to decide if they were going to stay on.
Yeah, very true. I have a moment pulled up that was one of the highlight of the episodes for me. It was when Ushijima and Tendo were having a much needed conversation. And Ushijima was saying that he was still reading "removes unnecessary hair and leaves skin feeling silky smooth." I love that.
And Tendo was like, "I wanted you to read the manga, not the ads." He would do it. He would do this thoroughly. He would read.
Yes, he would.
All. It makes sense.
It makes complete sense, and I am very, very happy that we have Tendo and not just Ushijima here. I love Ushijima. Do not get me wrong, but I love Tendo, and more than anything, I love their friendship. And
that's what I said when I was doing the tier list, is if I had one more moment, like at the end of season 3, when like Tendo and Ushijima are stretching and stuff, if I had gotten another moment of them together, I felt like Tendo made Ushijima a more interesting character.
I agree with you. Didn't Tendo have a line when they were stretching, like you were just talking about? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell my family that I was your friend, like when we see you on TV.
And he just goes, okay, or something. He said a one-word answer that wasn't negative. It wasn't saying you weren't my friend or anything.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good for this episode, yeah? Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.